Hey there everyone, Mazrock here, and today I want to go over the 9.1, 9.15 Protection Paladin Guide. I know we're so close to 9.1.5, it might as well just be that anyway. I've been playing a lot of Paladin lately, and I've been learning a lot of the little ins and outs and some little tips and tricks, and right off the bat, I'm no expert, but I'm having lots and lots of fun playing it, and I've been having lots of fun timing 15s with it. So if you're the type of person that's already regularly timing 15s, 16s, 17s as a Protection Paladin, most likely any of the information that I'm going to give to you is going to be, well, probably already well known. But you might pick up a few things along the way that I learned that you didn't. Same as I've been picking up along the way from people that play Protection around me. So aside from that, let's get into trinkets, talents, little tips and tricks, and all of those fun stuffs, and especially legendaries. Because Protection Paladins is one of those tanks that has quite a few legendaries to choose from. It's not... They've got a good base kit right off the bat. They have flexible talent options depending on what you need and want for a dungeon, and the affixes presented to you, where you can really have a lot of variety. It is one of those tanks that, like, you know, like Bear, you're playing the Thrash Legendary in Mythic Plus. Like, that's it. That's it. But in Mythic Plus, you can choose between quite a few legendaries with Protection Paladin if you want to go that route. You can stick with one and be perfectly fine with it, but if you want to min-max and really, you know, on tyrannical weeks, you want to go a little bit more single target, things like that, you can really change stuff around. Some of this information I got from the Discord down below for the Mazrock Gaming community. We're a bunch of tanks. We like to help each other out. If you have any questions about what I say or anything like that, or if you want to add on to it, again, I'm human, I'm not perfect, we're all learning this game together, and everybody knows something someone else doesn't. So maybe you know that little something about Protection Paladin that most people don't, and you want to share it. You can share it down in the comment section down below, or come on in the Discord with a nice positive community of people. We're fuck toxicity, right? No one needs that shit in their lives. It's 2021, we got enough of it in the outside world, we don't need it in our video games. So with that, let's get to it. Little announcement before we get started. In the Discord, I have been getting asked a lot of very beginner questions on certain types of tanks and things like that. What does what mean? And a lot of the guides that I make, including this one here as we get to it, is kind of meant for intermediate players, people that have tanked before or have tanked a little bit. You know, you've dabbled into heroic or, you know, at least some low keys or things like that, and you want to up your game and things like that. You want to get to the point of timing 15s. That's what these guides are kind of meant for and out there. But I don't break down super specific things. I don't go through the passives, why you should be doing certain things that, you know, might seem obvious to some, aren't obvious to others. So I am going to be starting a beginner's guide to tank X thing. So the first one coming up is going to be the Blood Death Knight. I think it's been the most requested in my Discord. So that's going to be the one coming up. Aside from that, I'll do the Warrior, Paladin, and we're going to really break everything down on what passives work with what talents and why you want to be doing such things. Because sometimes they're like, this is your talent row, set it and forget it, cookie cutter, boom, you're done. But why are you doing those things? Because that can affect your play. So do look forward to that in the future. Now let's go. Now, like I said before, Protection Paladin is one of the more flexible tanks when it comes to Mythic Plus and rating and things like that, and you can really change things around as you see fit. And we're going to start with Covenants right off the bat. So you do have two Covenants to choose from. As you can see here in the gameplay, I am currently a Venthyr Protection Paladin, which I do a nice little mix of rating. It has a lot of use in Mythic Plus as well, but Kyrian is the stronger choice for Mythic Plus, where Venthyr is the stronger choice for rating. Luckily, very soon, we're going to be able to swap Covenants as we see fit. So I am going to be leveling up Kyrian as fast as possible on my Prot Pally, so then that way I have both at my disposal whenever I want. Because both have insanely useful abilities for you to utilize and have fun with and work with and route around. And like I said, just be flexible with and give you a lot of different sort of, you know, whatever you want out of it. So Kyrian gives you the Divine Toll ability, which lets you shoot out a bunch of shields to everybody and do some big momentary damage. You're not going to have to worry about threat in that time. And in Mythic Plus, if you are spec'd into the Mechanico Soulbind, you can get that every 40 seconds as long as you are hitting 5 packs in a mob. It's in Mythic Plus, you're going to do that all the time anyway. That's really, really nice. It gives you a lot of utility because those Avengers shields interrupts everything. So if you got a mob of casters, you hit Divine Shield, you hit Divine Toll, sorry, and just boom, and everything comes right to you, and your pull is nice and set. It is a super fun ability that feels super fun to use, and at a 40-second cooldown, I mean, come on, it's so fun. Now, Venthyr offers the Ashen Hallow. If you have played this game for any amount of time, you have seen the big red circle that is Ashen Hallow dropped by either a Holy Paladin, most likely a Holy Paladin, but, you know, maybe a Prot Paladin as well, depending on who you've been playing with. It provides a lot of healing, it provides a lot of damage in a pack, and a lot of damage single target, depending on how you're using it. So I like to use it either for a really, really big pull in M+, or literally single target, I'm going to destroy this boss. And when you utilize it correctly and you plan your routes around that 4-minute mark, so if you know, hey, we're doing this Necrotic Wake in 20 minutes, that means I can get Ashen Hallow 5 times. I can squeeze it out 5 times if we do this right. Probably 4, 5, let's say it's 21 minutes. You could get it. You could get that last one. You know what I mean? Because you're not gonna drop it at the last second, most likely, or the last 2 seconds. You could, but you're probably not going to. So let's say 1-minute run, and you want to maximize that and pull around it, because using it for like a little 3-pack, kind of not worth it. Venthyr Covenant Soulbinds. I like Nadia in Mythic Plus. I think it's a lot of fun. The haste is really, really nice. It's just a good all-around soulbind, nice defensive, because you get the extra haste, as well as, you know, offensive, extra haste crit, blah, 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 from Euphoria. It's an all-around good setup. Theatar is a very good one if you are a type of tank that can stay still and find the shade that Gubbins brings out. So he puts a little spot of shade, stay there, big mastery buff. Very, very good for you. This is a good raiding soulbind as well. And then lastly, if you are the type of tank who can literally stay planted in one spot and not move, Draven is really good defensively. It really, really is. You get a lot of good bonuses from Draven, although I cannot stay still at all. Little tip as well with Paladins is you should absolutely be staying within your consecration at all times. You drop it, you make sure you stay in it as long as it is possible. If you're going to get one hit KO, obviously get out. But if you can stay within your consecration, stay in it. But I'm the type of person that I can run around in it, but I can't just not move. So I don't get the benefits of Draven. I just don't. I've tried it on my Death Knight. I've tried it on my Paladin. Although the bonuses are great, I just move around too much. It's just my playstyle. I'm constantly moving around and just like shuffling my feet and everything like that. I like pressing a lot of buttons, so it just doesn't work. So Naja's a very good Mythic Plus option. Theatar and Draven are great rating options, as well as some good Mythic Plus options as well. There you go there. Now, the main 2 that I use in Mythic Plus, depending on whether it's Fortified or Tyrannical and what kind of comp that I've got going in with me, is the Bulwark of Righteous Fury. So every hit of Avengers Shield increases the damage of Shield of the Righteous by 30%, which is uncapped AoE, and it deals lots and lots of damage and is your main active mitigation. So it just works really, really well, and you can pump out AoE damage with this build. So if you've got a lot of good single target, like if you're bringing a sub-rogue and, I don't know, another class that's really, really good at like high single target, one's just not coming to my head right now, I'm sorry guys. You say it down in the comment below, it's fine. And you need that extra AoE damage, Bulwark of the Righteous Fury would be the right pick for you, and is the one that I wear most on Fortified weeks. Now, on Tyrannical weeks, I run the Mad Paragon. You increase the length of your wings, Hammer of Wrath, deals more damage, and 30% more damage, and increases the length of your wings. So when you pair that with Ashen Hallow, you pop Avengers Wrath, it all goes super well together, and allows you to really crank out some single target damage. And again, that's if I'm bringing along a comp that's got a lot of heavy AoE and needs a little bit more, you know, is well more supplemented by having, you know, if I'm bringing a Survival Hunter and a Windwalker and a Frost Mage, They don't need my help in AoE. They're fine. But let's face it, me being a protection paladin that's better at single target might be the better call for that sort of comp. So take that in stride, play with it as you will. Those are the main two. Another few notables to really have fun and work with. If you are Kyrian, the Divine Toll Kyrian legendary is a really good. It's a lot of fun to play, and it gives you a constant source of holy power that works well with your Divine Toll. It's not something that I've personally tested, but a friend of mine that currently plays Protection Paladin a lot has tested it, and he really, really likes it. It's a lot of fun. So if you're Kyrian, maybe you might want to make that one. It's really not a bad one. Another good legendary is the Holy Avengers Engraved Sigil. When you use Avengers Shield, you have a 35% chance to instantly have the cooldown reset. When you pair this with the 25 talent row First Avenger, it becomes a very strong AoE ability, as well as a very strong defensive cooldown when you pair the two together. It would not be my first pick to go with, but if you're a little bit more cautious and you want to play a little bit more defensively, it is a very, very good option to have. And if you are primarily progression rating, like you're still a little bit under geared, the Magistrate's Judgment is a solid option for progression style rating, where you just need to play more defensively and you need to be a little bit more set up to live and fun stuff like that. Mad Paragon's the DPS legendary for Protection Paladin, where Magistrate's Judgment would definitely be your progression rating legendary. Alright, let's get to talents, because there's quite a bit of variety in how you want to play Paladin, depending on, well, how you want to play Paladin. So, my main setup that I like a lot, I go with Holy Shield. I really like it. Your block chance is increased by 15% chance, and you're able to block spells. Very, very nice to have. And your successful blocks deal holy damage to your attacker. I like this one a lot. It's a lot of fun. Now, the thing, if you're going into Mythic Plus with this one, you're going to have Hammer of the Righteous. The problem with Hammer of the Righteous is it is a single target ability, which is a good single target ability, but it does not generate threat in mobs unless you are standing in your consecration, which it then deals a wave of light to attack up to 8 creatures. So if you're going to play Holy Shield and Mythic Plus, what you want to do is you want to pull a mob to you. You want to go and attack. You want to set yourself up, as in hit your Avenger Shield, throw out a Judgment, hit your Consecration where you want, and let the mobs come to you. So maybe save your Avenger Shield for a caster mob that's going to lag behind or something like that. So when the mobs get to you, you can instantly hit them with a nice AoE Hammer of the Righteous. This is going to be very, very difficult for you if you'd like to play with DPS. At the moment they see you do anything, they go brr, because they don't understand that tank threat is not the easiest thing to generate in Shadowlands, and they just blame it on you when they open up with their 30k burst, and all you've done is literally throw out a Judgment. Like, you have, get what I'm saying? In this situation, Blessed Hammer in Mythic Plus is a super strong AoE option. I find it a little weird at times, and it's not exactly the most fun thing to play in single target, and it does take some getting used to, even in AoE, because you have to position yourself for this swinging hammer to go around. But it is very, very strong in AoE, and is very good for tank threat and things like that. Super solid ability to have. These are the two you're going to choose from. Redoubt, not the biggest fan with it. It is a nice strength and stamina bonus. Just, it's not enough. It doesn't compete with Holy Shield or Blessed Hammer, in my opinion. Now, this one here, we already talked about the strength of First Avenger. If you want to play more defensively, you can hit 2 additional targets and you get an Absorb Shield for 100% of all the damage it deals. This is why, when paired with the Engraved Sigil, that's what makes that so strong, because you gain a nice big shield, you get the 35% chance of an instant cooldown, so you can just constantly be popping. It's a lot of fun. My personal go-to is Crusaders Judgment. Judgment now has 2 charges, and Grand Crusader also now grants a charge of Judgment. Super strong single target, very good ranged ability, so if you got a kite, you can still hit things at a distance. Super good. 30, this is going to be your choice row. There's Fist of Justice. So each holy power spent reduces the remaining cooldown of Hammer of Justice by 2 seconds. Hammer of Justice being your 6 seconds done. Plain and simple. Super strong ability. Very nice to have. Blinding Light gives you a 1.5 minute just AoE kick. Very nice to have, especially if you are pugging. Now, this doesn't work on everything. It has to be something that can be blinded. There are certain enemies where this will not kick, but it will do most of the enemies in Mythic Plus, but you will find the occasional one that just doesn't work. Is what it is, right? That's the life. Unbreakable Spirit is my go-to for 35. Reduces the cooldown of your Divine Shield, Ardent Defender, and Lay on Hands by 30%. So that's a 3.5 minute cooldown on Divine Shield instead of 5. 7 minute cooldown on Lay on Hands. You get them significantly more often in any run. Very useful to have. All around good ability to have. Blessing of Spell Warding is not bad depending on what situation you're in. But I would read up on this first before choosing it and really using it. If you already have niche uses in which you would already love it and that's the one you pick, great. I just don't think it's the best option to have full time. Cavalier Divine Seed now has 2 charges. This is fun. It's good. It's just not as good as Unbreakable Spirit. Personal opinion. I mean, 2 pony charges are nice, but more Divine Shields, more Lay on Hands. That's nice. That's nicer. This one here, I have seen some people take Seraphim, but this is a more difficult option to take. It requires you to really plan out your pulls out ahead when you're using it and things like that. And it also costs 3 holy power to use, which means you're not using 3 holy power on Shield of the Righteous. I prefer Divine Purpose. Your holy power abilities have a 15% chance to make your next holy power ability free and deal 20% increased damage and healing. So the way Paladin works is you build up your holy power with Hammer of the Righteous, Blessed Hammers, Crusader Strikes, Avengers Shields, and then you use them on Shield of the Righteous, which gives you an armor increase for 4.5 seconds, and this does stack up until I think it's like 11.5, 12 seconds, if I'm not mistaken. And Word of Glories you can spend that on, which is healing. Personally, I'd prioritize Shield of the Righteous, but if you need the healing, Word of Glory is really strong. Now, you do get a passive that every 5 Shield of the Righteous that you cast, you get an empowered Word of Glory proc. Very strong to have. So this just works so well in tandem with everything. And on top of that, being able to hit Shield of the Righteous at the start of the pack, and you have 4.5 seconds of it, and then immediately getting another one, you have 9 seconds of Shield of the Righteous. You're already way more set up than you were. It is a smaller chance, but you would be surprised how often that comes up, and how often you are able to cap on Shield of the Righteous quickly to maybe throw out a few Word of Glories to a few DPS players that are, not doing so hot. It does happen. It's very nice. 45, this one here, just stick with Consecrated Ground. You're always staying in Consecration anyway. Your Consecration is 15% larger, and enemies within it are reduced by 50%. This one here is just all around nice for something you are already putting down anyway, and staying in anyway, and having you're going to be equipping a Conduit. That is going to be good in it with it anyway. It works. The last row is one where Righteous Protector is going to be your main go-to. Each holy power spent reduces the remaining cooldown of Avenging Wrath. Very strong DPS wise. Also Guardian of Ancient Kings by 1 second. Each holy power spent. So whenever you are using Shield of the Righteous or Word of Glory, that's 3 seconds off. And that is big because Guardian of Ancient Kings is a strong 50% damage reduction that's on a 5-minute cooldown. So you want to get that down as much as possible and get as many of them. Excuse me. Because Guardian of Ancient Kings is a 5-minute cooldown, and you want to squeeze as many of them as you can in an M+ run. So dropping that down by 3 seconds every time you use Shield of the Righteous or Word of Glory is a very strong. And that means when you spend the holy power on it, not when you get the free proc. But this does drop it considerably and is very good, both defensively and offensively for Avenging Wrath. Now, Final Stand. Now, first we'll talk about Sanctified Wrath. Avenging Wrath lasts 25% longer and causes your judgment to generate 1 additional holy power. This is nice if you're looking for super, you're not using Avenging Wrath as often as you can, but when you're using it, you really need it to be, crazy strong. Niche scenarios, not bad. I prefer Righteous Protector, especially because of the combination of more wings and Guardian of Ancient Kings, and you're already, if you're using the Mad Paragon legendary, you're already making your Avenging Wrath, Avenging Wrath last longer. Final Stand. During Divine Shield, all targets are taunted within 15 yards. Now, you may have gone into an M+ run before, been in trouble, you hit shield, and all of a sudden you lost all aggro. That's how that works. But if you hit Final Stand, they're taunted during the entire duration, so you are completely safe. You have an 8-second immunity to all damage, lets the healer catch up. If you need to play defensively or you want to pull really big, this is a very good option to have. This is also a go-to option for me on Necrotic weeks, because Divine Shield removes all stacks of Necrotic. You can do a big pull, get your Necrotic stacks up to like 50%, 50, 60. I've gotten like 71 on my Paladin before. Hit Divine Shield, you still have all aggro and no more Necrotic stacks with an 8-second immunity to Necrotic. Chef's kiss, and then you put that with Unbreakable Spirit, 3.5 minute cooldown on that. It comes up plenty during the course of a dungeon. Very, very strong on those niche scenario type of weeks, especially Necrotic. Bolstering, if you're doing high keys, is not bad either, depending on the size of the pack that you've ended up bolstering. It can come in handy and it can save your life, but mainly like Necrotic weeks, this is really, really strong. But those are the talents. Now, not gonna lie, almost forgot to talk about Conduits again. So, Conduits. Now, for potency Conduits, there's only 2 real good ones for you to be using at a single time, which is your either Kyrian or Venthyr potency conduit, so the Covenant specific ones, as well as Punish the Guilty. Shield of the Righteous deals more damage to those that you have Judgment, which is why I like the 2 stacks of Judgment. Now, when it comes to Endurance Conduits, Resolute Defender is an absolute one that you want to keep on at all times, and Shielding Words is very, very good. If you, for some reason, are running 3, the Royal Decree isn't bad, but I mean, it's just not good enough, especially if you're running the talent for Righteous Protector. These are the 2 you want to be going for, and then for the 2 Finesse Conduit, Echoing Blessings, and the Light Barding for the Divine Steed. Unfortunately, there's not a super lot of good ones that you want to go with, but that's kind of it. Right, so those are the Conduits talents. Now we'll go with a few little things. This is a big strength of the Paladin, is you have a lot of niche ways to deal with a lot of weird things. One of those things being Necrotic, which almost every tank hates. But if you are a Kyrian Paladin, you have 3 ways to deal with Necrotic. Number 1 is the Bubble Taunt with Final Stand that we just talked about. The other one is the Blessing of Protection, but the Blessing of Protection does the exact same thing that Bubble does. When you take it without the talent, you lose all threat. This is why there is a macro that I can link down below, which you click it once, you get Blessing of Protection. You click it a second time, it actually drops the aura. And if you click it twice fast enough, you will get it, drop the aura, not lose threat, and you will drop all of your Necrotic stacks. And this is on a 5-minute cooldown. Very, very good to have, especially throughout the course of a dungeon. And of course, every 3 minutes, as a Kyrian Paladin, you get the File of Serenity, which removes all Necrotic stacks anyway. And if you're playing the Clay of Soulbind, you get an 8-second immunity to Necrotic stacks every time you use your File. Very, very strong. So if you are a tank, if you're looking to play a tank and not be afraid of Necrotic weeks, Paladin, Kyrian Paladin is definitely a really good option for you to play. Another bit of utility that I like a lot with Paladin is Turn Evil. If you don't know this, in the first boss of Plaguefall, Globtrob, when he summons the big ad, you can hit Turn Evil and it deals with it for a time, 40 seconds. That's really, really strong. There is a cast time on it, so just be wary. It's not instant, but you do have a lot of utility, you have a lot of flexibility, and you have a lot of damage. Now, with Paladins, you already have a lot of defensive tools at your disposal with Bubble Taunt and things like that. But if you are looking to add to that defensiveness, a blood spattered scale trinket, I don't think I'm ever going to pronounce that one right on the first try, from the other side, is a very, very strong trinket to have that gives you another big absorb shield. The Shard of Enhilde is another really good one for Mythic Plus. I've explained this in other guides already to death. It's good. Other notable trinkets is the IQD. If you are Venthyr, pairing the IQD up with your Ashen Hollow is really, really strong. Just an all-around good trinket to have for there. Good DPS trinkets is the Phial of Putrefaction as well, because you're hitting a lot of things that, like Avengers Shield, you're getting a lot of procs. Shield of the Righteous is constantly going, which, to mention, Shield of the Righteous is off the global cooldown. So you can hit Avengers Shield, get that third Holy Power with it, and before it's off the global cooldown, be hitting Shield of the Righteous, and constantly going that way. So it's very, very fast paced. Another very good one, since haste is very, very important for paladins. So we're gonna do stat prio and trinkets in this one. How's that? Haste is super strong for paladins. Mastery and versatility are about equal, so play it as you will, where you feel comfortable with, and then crit is last. Although I wouldn't say, don't have no crit on any of your gear, which, I mean, in Shadowlands, fairly impossible to do anyway, because there's a lot of crit played out there. But that's the main stat prio. But the Old Warrior Soul, the Sylvanas trinket, is a really, really solid trinket for Protection Paladins. It gives you a nice load of haste. The only thing with that trinket is you don't want to stop. Because what it does is it builds up haste stacks the longer the fight goes on. And this includes Mythic Plus. And it lasts for about 15 seconds. So what you want is you want to build up those stats and just keep going. Don't stop. Keep pulling. Keep pulling as much as you can. So if you're in a super solid group that can keep up, Old Warrior Soul is really, really good for Mythic Plus, and it's obviously a really, really good raid trinket. All right. That's it. That's the Protection Paladin guide. So, as I mentioned at the start of this video, I am starting a beginner's guide, which I'm going to be going over what certain passives are, what do they mean for the tank, and if you've never picked up a tank spec in your life on WoW, this is going to help you choose one or really get to know what you need to know before you even start. Because my guides now are kind of assuming you've hit 50, 55, 60, you've tanked a little bit, you have some sort of pre-knowledge of what's going on. But I'm going to be doing breakdowns of the 5 classes that I know fairly well. Monk, I know the least. Demon Hunter, I don't know at all. But Monk, I know the least, but am learning. And Monk's been a lot of fun. Paladins, DKs, and Warriors, I've obviously know fairly well. So, those are going to be coming out, so look out for those. Aside from that, I stream on Twitch. Links are all down below. Thank you very much for joining. I know this got to be a fairly long video. Paladins have a lot to talk about. If you have any more Paladin tips or tricks, bring that down in the Discord or in the comment section below. Positive comments only, guys. I mean, I can totally handle the criticism. If you got something nice, if you got some criticism for me, that's great. But, man, let's not be dicks. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. And that's where I'm going to end. Let's not be dicks.